Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Broku, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Broku Podcast, where we're going to talk about anything and everything Dragon Ball related, like what episodes of Dragon Ball I watched this week, if there's any new, interesting, cool videos or ideas or theories in the community, talk about that, or just talk about any news, like if there's new material for the movie, material for the Heroes anime that's coming out in July. That's what we'll be talking about. That's what we'll be discussing. Now, this will likely be a weekly podcast, once a week, probably every Saturday or Sunday. And this will be a roughly 30-minute to 60-minute podcast. Now, I do need to say, you do not need to watch this. But what I mean is, you can just listen to it. Now, I will probably put in some images, especially if I'm talking about things specifically when I go through and edit this, but for the most part, you can just listen to it. So if you're gaming, if you're at work, or if you're doing something else, you can play this. Don't have to worry about looking at the screen. Especially if you have YouTube Red, just close the app, put it in your pocket, listen to it, put some headphones in, you're golden. So yes, you don't need to look at the screen, so don't worry about that. Now, if there's a point where I say, oh, here's this image, I might put that in. I might want to pull your phone out real quick, but it's probably going to be nothing ever that you need to look at. So, first off, the first topic of this podcast, guys, is holy crap, thank you guys so much for 50,000 subscribers. I cannot believe it. This is absolutely insane, guys. Like, I was just at a loss for words. I was at the Solo movie with some friends, and we got there about a half hour early, and I was just checking my phone. I kept refreshing it because I was at like 49,997 when we first got in the theater. And literally the second that the miniature opening crawl came out in the theater for Solo was actually starting, I hit 50,000 subscribers. So I was like, yes. And then watched Solo, which was a great movie. I actually really like Solo. But I cannot believe 50,000 subscribers in like 10 months, technically. Now, yes, I did upload my first videos in May of 2017, so it has been over a year. But the thing is that I uploaded those videos and then just stopped because I needed to take a 2-month break from YouTube. So I really didn't start this channel until August. And anyways, that's where the growth started anyways. I don't know if you guys know this, but I just uploaded 3 videos in May. Didn't do anything for almost 3 months. And all of a sudden, my first video ever, the what if Future Gohan went back in time instead of Future Trunks, that video just blew up out of nowhere, and it just like got tens of thousands of views in a few days, and then I started gaining a bunch of subscribers, and it just all went from there, and it was amazing. I know probably almost any of you who's watching this video have seen that. It's my first ever video that just absolutely blew up, but it was amazing. And what's crazy, guys, is so I put 10 months into this channel and got 50,000 subscribers. If you guys don't know, before this channel, I had a different channel where I did like Call of Duty Zombies gaming videos, live streams, such like that. I worked on that channel for 2 years and only hit 1,200 subscribers. So for the fact that in 10 months I got to 50,000 compared to 2 years to get to 1,200 is absolutely insane. I love you guys so much. You guys are amazing. We did this together. I really do appreciate all of this amazing support. And so this is kind of my 50,000 subscriber special for now, but it's not officially. Like I said, guys, is that like I said earlier, I am done with my Patreon. So Patreon, they were not sending me my money. Like, it was just a few months of them not sending my money at all. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore because I don't want you guys to be sending Patreon money that is meant for me so that I can make some better what-ifs and then for them not to send it to me. Now, ultimately what happened is I disclosed the Patreon, I ended it, and they actually ended up sending me the money. So that's good. So I probably, instead of just one animated what-if, I might do a few because I'm going to hire an animator and get some pretty cool animated fights in these what-ifs. Now, what I need to do is I need to make it a good what-if first so that it's going to be the best way to actually animate the fight. because not all my what ifs have like these great fight scenes. I want it to be a good narrative fight scene so that I can hire an animator to make this really cool fight scene. If you have any ideas for some animators, guys, let me know. I mean, I found one that was amazing a while ago, but like, he is very flaky. I'll say that. I was gonna pay him for an intro, and he said he'd have it done in a week, and it's been like 4 months, and he hasn't even responded to me. So it's like, I'm probably not gonna work with him, but he was really good. Not gonna lie. But if you guys have any ideas for animators, let me know. I'm just probably gonna want them to animate like a 2-minute fight, maybe a minute. I don't know. I know animation's extremely hard, extremely time consuming, so it really depends on what they can do. But if you guys have any ideas for that, let me know. And so yeah, guys, 50,000 subscribers. Cannot believe it. Halfway to 100,000 subscribers, which is my ultimate goal on YouTube, is 100,000. That would be absolutely insane. Now, again, guys, this is the Broku Podcast. Don't have an ideal name yet. I'm just going to call it the Broku Podcast. This is not my first podcast. Like I said, I had a different channel before this, a Call of Duty channel, where I did a podcast, and it was with other people. There was 4 of us, and we talked about Call of Duty Zombies, and I loved that podcast, and I love listening to podcasts, and I was just going to try doing it on my own. Now, I would love to like actually get co-hosts for this in the future, where like every podcast of the week I always have like 1 guy or 2 people with me that are with me every week, and then get to the point where maybe every week or every other week we get a guest to bring in, like a YouTuber or somebody from the community. I'd really like that, because there's actually, I don't know of any podcasts in the Dragon Ball community where it's like that, where you have a bunch of YouTubers doing a podcast. Now, I don't know if a podcast is going to work. I don't know how the Dragon Ball community likes podcasts, but I know there's a lot of decent podcasts that there were in the Call of Duty Zombies community, like the Zombros podcast, which is amazing. But yeah, if anybody is interested in being a co-host or ideas for having a guest, let me know. This is just the inaugural podcast. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to run it, but it's just for fun, something I wanted to do. And I did the poll. Looks like 71% of you guys wanted a podcast, so I mean, why not? Sorry for the other 29%, but trying something new. You gotta try something new on YouTube. So, now, I think what is very fitting for this podcast is to talk about when I first watched Dragon Ball, how I got into it, and I think that's good to talk about because this is the first podcast, and talking about my first moments of Dragon Ball would be probably a good idea. Now, I have mentioned it several times before, like when I would live stream gaming, when I would live stream just Dragon Ball on this channel. And I think in some of my videos I've even mentioned it, but a lot of people that are new, I mean, I'm getting hundreds of subscribers a day. Like, I have new subscribers who might not have seen this video, so I'm just going to go over it pretty quickly. So, I was pretty young. I'd say I was in probably 1st grade, because kindergarten I was a Yu-Gi-Oh fanboy. I think it's probably 1st grade when I was first introduced to Dragon Ball. In 1st grade, I think that was about 2002? No, probably 2003 maybe. So I think 1st grade was like 2003, and I mean, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't know what Dragon Ball was. Now, I'd seen some images, but I only knew the images. I didn't know the name of Dragon Ball. And I remember my mom and my sisters had gone out and went on a vacation on their own, like a girl's vacation for the weekend. And it was nice because me and my dad just got to hang out at the house. We played some video games together. We shot some hoops at the park. And we barbecued. We watched movies. And it was great. And then he went to Blockbuster to get me I can't remember if it was the Yu-Gi-Oh movie that was out, or if it was, you could go and get these VHS tapes which had a few episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh on it. And so he went to Blockbuster and asked them if they had it, because he couldn't find it, and they said they didn't have any left. And now, we were having such a great weekend, and my dad's such a good dad, he did not want to leave Blockbuster empty-handed, so he asked, what would be the next best thing? And luckily, this person at Blockbuster said, here is this Dragon Ball Z movie. Now, this was the first Cooler movie, and I was amazed. I actually immediately liked Dragon Ball more than Yu-Gi-Oh! After watching this movie. I watched it with him, and then he went to bed, and I snuck downstairs, put the VHS back in, and watched it again. And I watched like 2 to 3 times a day for like the week that we had it, because Blockbuster let us have it for a week. And then the next weekend, me and my dad were hanging out again, and he returned that movie and got the sequel, the second cooler movie, and I was in love again. And now, in the beginning few years of me watching Dragon Ball, I did not know a lot of it. I'd only seen a handful of the movies, a handful of the episodes of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and then I read maybe a few of the actual volumes of the manga, because what happened is I was a very busy kid. I didn't always have time to watch TV, and back then you couldn't really... the technology was different back then. You couldn't like have your TV record it and like set a scheduled recording. You couldn't do that back then, even though now you can. So I would often miss episodes. Now, I would sometimes see episodes of Dragon Ball, episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and I started to try to put the pieces together of what the actual story was. And I remember my mom would go to Costco, get me VHS tapes that would have 4 episodes on it. The first one was the Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Kid Buu fight. It was like that 4 episodes. Then she got me another one. It was Vegito versus Buhan. And then she got me another one, and it was Super Vegeta against Semi-Perfect Cell. So for a while, I would just rewatch those every day. I just put all 3 of them, especially in the summer. I'd go through and watch each VHS tape, and I was just amazed. And I always wanted to know more. And what would happen is my mom would take me to the library, and I was looking around, and I saw Dragon Ball Z, and I saw it was basically a comic book, and it was the same story, just in comic form or manga form. And so I was the kid at the library who would always have my limit stocked full. I'd always have all of the Dragon Ball mangas, and so eventually, over time, in a few months, I was able to read all of the Dragon Ball manga and all of the Dragon Ball Z manga several times because of my library, thank God. And then I finally got the whole story pieced together, and then I found out there was Dragon Ball GT, so I went to YouTube, watched all the important fights from GT. So it took me a long time to fully understand what Dragon Ball even was. In the first few years, I just got bits and pieces of it and tried to make my own form of headcanon to figure out what the story was. So it was a cool way for me to get introduced into Dragon Ball, to have my dad try and get Yu-Gi-Oh! For me, to only bring back something even better. So it'd be interesting, guys. What was your introduction to Dragon Ball? Is it something similar to mine? I mean, I remember somebody commented that they had the same exact thing that happened to them, that their parents went to like some video rental store to get a Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing, and the person working there at the rental store gave them Dragon Ball as the next best option, which is pretty hilarious. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball are these 2 hugely popular anime at the time, and somewhat similar. Now, I mean, card game versus fighting, it's different, but to people who don't know about it, it does look similar. My parents still sometimes think I run a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. They're like, oh, how's Yu-Gi-Oh! Going? It's like, no, Mom, it's Dragon Ball. But anyways, guys, let me know what was your origin of it. And also, guys, late plug, but please do leave a like if you are enjoying this podcast, and just put a comment down below what you think of it. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and please follow me on Twitter, because my Twitter notifications never fail. Twitter notifications are way better than YouTube notifications, so if you want even more secure notifications, just follow me on Twitter, and every time I upload, you'll know, because Twitter's just somehow better at notifying people, subscribers, than YouTube. But anyways, I think, so I actually went, I'm going to pull it up here, I actually put up a little thing on the community tab where I wanted to basically get questions from you guys. So what ended up happening is you guys just spammed what if questions, which I should have known that that's all you guys would ask, because I make these Dragon Ball What If videos, but for future reference, I will put, please exclude what ifs, because in this podcast format, I really can't get into the what if properly. Now, I'm going to go through, I have 71 comments, I'm going to probably buzz through them. So first one is from Cyrokuno. Can you do a what if Goku was sent to Naruto, just to Naruto world as a baby? And I probably will at one point, but I do need to finish at least Naruto. Now, I probably don't need Naruto Shippuden right away, but I think I'm at episode 85 or something like that, and just Naruto. I should probably finish that, and maybe even all of it, just because I think somebody was telling me that Naruto Shippuden like kind of retcons parts of Naruto and gives you like the full grasp of the story back then. Like, so I might need to watch all of it before I get into it, just to make it a bit more accurate than what it would be. Like, I'm not a Naruto expert, not even close. I'm not even a casual fan, really. From Super Saiyan 4 R4 Gaming, what if Vegeta turned Super Saiyan 2 when Trunks died? Now, that's a quick one. It wouldn't have done anything. I mean, if Vegeta really struggled against a Cell Jr., and a Super Saiyan 2 is only a 2x multiplier, I mean, he could probably defeat the Cell Jr., but probably not Perfect Cell. I mean, if you guys remember, Goku at half of his power and mastered Super Saiyan made Trunks and Vegeta's jaw drop. And Goku at full power was really not even standing a chance against Perfect Cell. So Super Saiyan 2 would not be enough for Vegeta. Now if he went Super Saiyan 4 somehow, I think he could probably defeat him. From Holo Van Sant, what if Tien killed Semi-Perfect Cell, and what if Cell went back in time and absorbed himself? So for the what if Tien killed Semi-Perfect Cell, I don't think he would, even though, I mean, that Kiko-Ho was pretty powerful, but still. And I got Thomas Houghton asking the same question, and then from Jaundbz, was that Job? Probably Job. How strong would Goku be if he unlocked his potential by Elder Kai in the Buu Saga? Okay, so I mean, he'd be pretty strong. We still don't even have the ultimate form completely explained, because Gohan, he got stronger from fighting Buu to doing this training with the Z-Sword, so it's hard to actually gauge how much stronger just the potential unlocked would be. I mean, I have to go back and read the manga, watch Dragon Ball Z over again to really fully analyze it, but I mean, if he got his potential unlocked, he would definitely be pretty strong. Vargan1414, what if Jiren's parents never died? Well, maybe if you wait till tomorrow, you might get that answer found out. Jane Ruto, what if Majin Buu unlocks a new transformation? I don't know. Alright, I'm going to try and skip some what ifs. Okay, so is Krillin and Super stronger than Perfect Cell? Okay, that's a tough one. Krillin is definitely strong now. I mean, super strong, but I would say right now I don't have the authority to say if he is. Now, I would say that Krillin is stronger at least than Super Saiyan Goku and Namek, but Perfect Cell is in a completely different class than that. Now, the reason why I'm saying I'm not having a huge authority on it is that the past few months, I have not been watching a lot of Dragon Ball. I've not been reading a lot of Dragon Ball. I've been studying a lot of Norse mythology and stuff like that. And so I'm not even like a great at power scaling right now because I'm not focused on it. Now, I will get back into it pretty soon, and maybe I can answer that or make a video on it in the future. But right now, I'd say, I don't know. From Russell Collignon, can you talk more about the future of Dragon Ball? So, with the future of the Dragon Ball, it is somewhat murky, but somewhat we can see what's going to happen. We have a Dragon Ball Heroes anime coming out in less than a month. It's a promotional anime. And from what we can tell, it's going to be like an episode every other week, not every week. And we don't know how long that's going to last, but it's going to be decent filler. And I'm not using filler as in the anime form, but something to fill the gap of Dragon Ball between that and the movie. And if the movie is very successful, they will bring Dragon Ball back. I mean, Dragon Ball Super made a shit ton of money. It'd be stupid not bring it back once again after the movie. So I do think we will get something else. Now, what it will be, I don't know. Will it take place at the end of Z or after the end of Z and basically just take over what GT was? I don't know, but if I had to bet money, would Dragon Ball continue and get a new series or a new show, I would bet a lot of money on it that it would happen. So I just going through, I have a lot of what ifs to go through. Like I said, next time I'm probably going to say no what ifs for this, but that's my fault for not saying it. So I got one from Super Savage 789. Why do Saiyans have so many transformations when they are a weak race? Okay, so the Saiyans, they're not really a weak race. They're actually quite a strong race, but they didn't fully get to reach their potential because Frieza killed them all. If Frieza had actually let the Saiyans survive for a few years longer, they probably would have usurped him and killed him. That's probably one of the main reasons why he killed them, is because they were getting stronger. They had Zenkai boost. They even witnessed Bardock, a low-class Saiyan who worked extremely hard, and now he was, I think he was as strong as King Vegeta at the time he died. So Saiyans can get strong fast. So they're not a weak race at all. They're far stronger than humans. I remember a lot of people now think that humans have more potential and are can be stronger than Saiyans. Now, yeah, they can be stronger, but I highly doubt they have more potential. The humans now that are stronger than the old Saiyans, it's because of circumstance. It's because, mainly, they have a Saiyan on their side. Goku, Tien, Krillin, all those Earthlings are that strong because of a Saiyan. So, they're not a weak race, and they have all these transformations because they're actually more of a special race. They have a Super Saiyan God ritual to become a god, to harness God Ki. So, they're not a weak race at all, and, I mean, they must be special if they can do a ritual alone to get God Ki. So I think that's why they probably have all these transformations, is that they're this superior race. They're that good. So we got one from Saucy Boy. Have you played any Dark Souls games, and if so, which ones are your favorite? No, I have not played any of the games, but I do know that they are pretty good. So from Elijah Burton, can you do a What If Cell won the Cell Saga? I mean, maybe. I'd have to really look into it, but I mean, I think it'd just be the end of the Earth and Cell would rule the galaxy until Majin Buu came, but maybe. So we got one from Jose W. Velasquez. How many Spider-Mans would Goku have to face back-to-back until they finally beat him? I mean, I know there's different versions of Spider-Man. It'd have to be a lot. In fact, I can't even give an answer because Goku could be in his base form at less than 1% of his power and just flick them and flick them and flick them and flick them and flick them. And if you think about it, just flick all day. You could flick forever. I mean, flicking does not take a lot of energy. You just keep flicking. Your hand gets tired. You switch to your other hand. By the time that hand gets tired, you switch back to your other hand, and it's ready to go again. If Goku can do that, I mean, I don't know if he could ever not be able to do that. I think it could probably go on for definitely a long time, but potentially forever against Spider-Man. Now we got one from Jose W. Velasquez. Apparently 16 had a bomb that could damage Perfect Cell. What happened to it? Bulma took it out, but imagine if they had weaponized it. Perfect Cell tier bombs are no joke. I mean, is it even confirmed it would kill Cell? I mean, I know it was a super powerful bomb, but I don't know if it actually would have killed Cell. But, I mean, they probably just disposed of it like anybody would do with bombs of war in today. But if they had weaponized it, depends on how strong it would be. I mean, if it is a legit Perfect Cell tier bomb, then Bulma could have loaded up in a bazooka and shot at Cell, and she could have won the Cell games. But what is Present Trunks and Goten's goal in life? Do they want to get stronger? That's from Yadon or Jadon Samuels. And, you know, I don't know what their goal is, because we've barely seen them at all inside of Super. They have been such minor characters, we have no idea. I mean, Goten might be being manipulated by Chi-Chi. We don't know what's going on with them. I mean, you can kind of look towards the end of Z, where they said they were going to train, like when Goku was talking to them, but I mean, that could be retcon because of what's happened in Super. So I don't know. I would love to see Goten and Trunks want to fight, want to train, and become relevant again, but I mean, no idea. From Savage Squad Official, how strong would a Goku-Jiren fusion be? It depends on which fusion. If it's Patora, it would be an absolutely insane fusion. Now, Metamoran, it really depends, because we don't really know Metamoran Fusion Dance. I mean, the GT Perfect File state, it is like a dozens of times stronger, but it's just weird. That number isn't perfect when you scale it up with Goten and Trunks' fusion, and even with Gogeta, it's not perfect. So I don't know, but no matter what, the Patora fusion of Goku and Jiren would be absolutely phenomenal. From Hyper Capsule 455, is Master Roshi in Super stronger than Frieza and Dragon Ball Z? Again, I am not a perfect power scaler right now. I've not really been into the power scaling scene for a bit, and especially not even the Dragon Ball scene very much. But I would have to say that, yeah, he is. I mean, he's definitely gotten stronger. He's super strong, and Frieza is still nothing at that time compared to what anything the characters in Super are now, but I think he is. He's had some impressive feats in Super. From Dag, Fortnite. I'm still playing it a little bit, but the new updates are really killing it for me. From Jacob League, who is your least favorite Z fighter? I would probably have to say Krillin. I actually don't like Krillin that much. Now, I did like him a lot in Dragon Ball. He was amazing in Dragon Ball, but now I don't really like Krillin as part of the Z fighters, so he's probably my least favorite. From Ayuwash Adlaka, who is stronger, Vegeta, Android 17, or Golden Frieza after the Tournament of Power? Well, I'd say it's between Android 17 and Vegeta, and I would probably go with Vegeta because he would have a massive Zenkai boost after his fight with Jiren, and with his new form of Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, I think he'd actually be stronger than Android 17, and Android 17 would be the second strongest, and then Golden Frieza would be the third, but all of them pretty strong. From One Gaming Boy, please explain why it is more likely for Goku to become a Supreme Kai than an angel. I honestly feel people are saying he should be an angel just because they want Goku to be above Vegeta, with Beerus' comment on Vegeta's possibility of becoming a god. I'd say the reason why it'd be more likely for Goku to become a Supreme Kai rather than an angel is because it looks like all of the angels are the Grand Priest's children, and Goku would not be one of those. But then again, the Supreme Kai are like their own race, except in the manga, I believe in the manga, Future Trunks becomes a Kai. So it's like, I mean, it looks like it's much more likely just based on that reason alone, but Goku would also need to be able to use all of those magical hacks that Whis has. Whis can bring people back to life. Whis can manipulate time, and Goku cannot do that. So, and comparing that with the fact that all the angels are the sons of the Grand Priest, I think that's why it's pretty unlikely for him to become an angel. But I also don't think it's likely for him to become a Supreme Kai either. So I don't think it's likely for either, but I think it would be more likely for a Supreme Kai than rather an angel. Lord Yamcha versus Mr. Popo, the fight between two legends, who wins, and don't bring in Farmer the Shotgun. We already have two omnipotent beings fighting here. Realistically, Yamcha would win, but if you meme it, Popo's gonna win because Popo is the god. So from One Gaming Boy once again, Norse mythology Thor versus Buu Saga Vegito. Who would win? And so I actually did a scaling video on Thor, and Thor really does scale completely, like, all over the place in Norse mythology because there's different interpretations, and although the similar story is there, but the exact details will be changed. Like in some areas of the mythology, there's realms that are infinite in size. There's some realms where they're not. So it really depends on how it goes. Now, Thor does have a feat where he actually shakes all of the realms, which 3 of the realms have infinite sizes. So he shook infinity, shook several infinite sized realms, and also he was able to shake these realms that were basically different dimensions that you can only get there through magic. And he did that with a playful bop on the head on top of the world serpent Jormungandr's head. So it wasn't even Thor trying. And then also, Thor wrestled with an infinite powered being without Mjolnir, without his belt Mejnjord, which doubles his power. Well, actually, in some mythology it says he doubles his power. Some says it just increases it dramatically. But still, without those things, and he actually put up a good fight against the actual personification of old age, which has infinite power because nothing can beat old age. So, I mean, if you were 70% of infinity, you're still infinity. So he has several infinite feats depending on what you look at in the actual mythology. Now, there's even more, but there's some different scholarly things where it's like, is that accurate, or is that just what one family or one group of families saw that Thor did that in the mythology, or is that the more accurate, widespread version? Now, the thing with Norse mythology is that the religion was not codified. It was just a bunch of different people worshiping it. It wasn't like a strict Bible was made or anything like that. So that's why there's a lot of different interpretations. And also, we don't know a lot because the Christians pretty much erased the history of that and banned worship of it when the Christians took over Scandinavia. If you could choose a movie character to be canon, how would you fit them into the current Dragon Ball story? I don't know how I'd put them in there, but I would like to actually see some of the androids, like Super Android 13 or Tapayon. I would love that. From Tarbell, what are your thoughts on Dragon Ball R&R? It was really cool. I watched the first one. I really did like it. I like how they did it. Like how some parts were animated, some parts were like images, and it was great. It was really very well put together, very high quality. It was very good. And now that's going to do it for the questions, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the first podcast. Thank you so much for 50,000 subscribers. So tune in next week. It'll be the number 2 podcast, episode 2. And leave video topics down below, and also questions for the next podcast down below. Also, sometime in the next few days, I'll be posting on the community tab also topics and questions of what you guys want to know and ask. Please kind of leave out what if questions, but that'll be ideas for the next podcast. But anyways, guys, hope you all have an amazing day. Peace out.